have crossed into this country illegally. That's a national security crisis, by the way.
Hey guys, good afternoon. I'm here with a new video. Please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon and kindly watch the video till the end.
Sanders is downplaying concerns over President Biden's age as he runs for re-election.
It is clearly an issue for many voters when it comes to President Biden. You have advice to him on how he should assuage those concerns in the public about his age?
When people look at a candidate, whether it's Joe Biden or Trump or Bernie Sanders, anybody else, they have to evaluate a whole lot of factors. At the end of the day, what we have got to ask ourselves is, what do people stand for? So age is an issue, Chuck, but there are a lot of broader issues than just that.
Joe Conch is a Fox News contributor and columnist for The Messenger. Joe, I'm still trying to make out what I think of that. I still haven't figured it out. What do you make of a wishy-washy, weird comment like that from Bernie?
Well, I think it was a ridiculous question to start, right? Hey, you're old, so can you give the other old guy who, unlike you, isn't aging very well, who, unlike you, doesn't seem to have his faculties anymore, some advice? I mean, Tim Russert, in a billion years, would never ask that question. And yes, Joe Biden's age is an issue, but it's his decisions on all the spending that he's done as far as inflation is concerned. That's an issue. That's a bigger issue. It's the fact that district attorneys will not enforce the law in major American cities run by Democrats. That is a big issue. It's the fact that Kamala Harris is the border czar, yet the border remains wide open. 7 million people have crossed into this country illegally. That's a national security crisis. 7 million people have crossed into this country illegally. That's a national security crisis, by the way. That's an issue. So I didn't like the question to begin with, and I'm sorry, it's a cop-out. When you talk about Joe Biden and you just point to age, it's the decisions that are being made, regardless of age, that is why he's polling lower than any president in history at this stage of his presidency, Ashley. Todd?
Yeah, I mean, it's on an individual basis. Not everyone at Biden's age acts like him or makes the decisions that he makes. So I think it does need to be individualized for sure. But Biden advisors are reportedly fuming at California Governor Gavin Newsom's plans to debate presidential candidate Ron DeSantis. An advisor telling NBC News it's disrespectful. Joe Biden is running with Kamala Harris. That's the Democratic ticket. So what is it? Is it because Newsom already endorsed Biden? I mean, and how do they know that's a ticket? RFK Jr. could make his way up there easily.
Oh, easily. At least Gavin Newsom is debating, right? Unlike this president and Joe Biden, who apparently the DNC says cannot debate under any circumstances. And that's a whole bowl of wrong. Just like it's wrong that Donald Trump didn't debate last week. These are nominations, not coronations. And Gavin Newsom clearly is plan B for the Democrats if Joe Biden decides he cannot run, because his vice president, Kamala Harris, and that's why, people are talking off the record to people like NBC News, outlets like NBC News, obviously is not an option, given how low she is polling at this point, which is even lower than the president, which we just discussed is the lowest in history. So Gavin Newsom, if Joe Biden decides or is told not to run, that's the guy you're going to see on the ticket, I can guarantee you, despite the fact that, hey, the bumper sticker will be Make America California, which is something you don't want necessarily. But for him, it's looks, it's smile, and it's presentation, never record, because if you judge Gavin Newsom by his record, that's something you don't want to run on.
Yeah, I know Republican presidential candidates have to beat up on each other in order to win the nomination, but they need to also capitalize on this Democratic infighting, because it shines a spotlight on the tiny, tiny bench in the Democratic Party and how they're having trouble figuring out what to do next. Finally, presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy had an interesting exchange with CNN's Dana Bash as he defended his remarks about squad member Ayanna Pressley. All this after Pressley attacked Vivek, saying, quote, "We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice." Watch.
How in any way are the views you're talking about comparable to the views and atrocities committed by the KKK?
What I said is the Grand Wizards of the KKK would be proud of what they would hear her say, because there's nothing more racist than saying that your skin color predicts something about the content of your viewpoints
you
or
didn't
your
just say
ideas.
they would be proud.
For Ayanna Pressley to tell me that because of my skin color I can't express my views, that is wrong. It is divisive. It is driving hate in this country.
Final thoughts, Joe.
Well, I have no idea why anybody would go on CNN at this point. You go there not for an interview and to discuss issues. It's to debate somebody from the Democratic Party. And Dana Bash clearly is an activist more than a journalist at this point. Look, Martin Luther King says we need to judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Literally, that is Vivek Ramaswamy's point at this point in that interview. And he did very well there, as he always does in interviews. He's not afraid to go anywhere.
He did. All right, Joe Concha, thank you. With that, Fox and Friends starts right now. Have a good